expression on his face. It was a wonder that his temper could be good when he was being pushed head over heels and couldn't say anything about it. At this moment, Mo Fong snorted coldly and stopped speaking. There was not much difference in the strength of the three. However, due to the fact that the demon race's physique was more powerful than that of normal people, and at that moment, their spiritual power was sealed. If they fought, the two of them together would be able to resist each other. But different races, and there's still a deep hatred going on. Is it possible to cooperate in good faith? It's nice not to be on each other's defense. Understanding this, Mo Fong and also Chu Yun had stopped continuing to fight. However, the three were alert after such a mess. I can't imagine that these people's strength is really good, to be able to detect even this movement. Chu Fong also heard the commotion over here at that moment. The movements of his hands could not help but be doubly careful. After all, the immortal and demon continent was an immortal cultivation world anyways. There are a lot of strange and weird tactics. If the other party did find out about him, it would be a bit of a problem. The moving Chu Fong slowly left the range of these people. After a short while, it was even above the top of the mountain. This pressure, it's definitely not a place that ordinary people can reach. Looking at the top of the hill in front of you, there was just one lone 9-petaled blade, 9-petaled petal plant. There was even a strong medicinal scent emanating from it. Just taking a whiff of it made it seem as if his divine soul was about to float up and rapidly increase in size. This induction directly allowed Chu Fong to determine that this thing was definitely a treasure. And, still, a supreme treasure. Take it off. Chu Fong sensed that the spiritual energy inside his body was rapidly passing away. At that moment, they acted immediately. The pressure here is massive and unbelievable. It directly reached the transfiguration realm. Just this pressure alone, even with the spiritual power to isolate it, directly made Chu Feng's unbearable to the extreme. Go! After seeing the divine pill being picked, the spiritual energy was mostly consumed. With a low cry, Chu Feng operated his spiritual energy and supplied it to his feet. In the next second, he came directly to 100 meters away, and then, not caring what else would happen up there, he kept his How come the medicinal scent is gone from here? Chu Feng had just gotten his hands on them, and Mo Feng, Chu Yun, and the other three below immediately realized that something was wrong. At that moment, he stood up directly and scanned the surrounding area. The disappearance of the medicinal scent was unheard of for thousands of years before. Now that the fragrance of the medicine has disappeared, does it mean that the divine medicine has been stolen? Or stolen? Mo Feng, Chu Yun, each of the three of us will leave one person here to stand guard, while the other person will directly go back to report to the elders above. As for us, we're going in to see if we can find out what's going on over here. Kayak Gang immediately arranged to. There are three forces at work here. Each of them carry two squires of notable strength. So there is nothing at all wrong with this arrangement. After all, according to their common sense, they couldn't use spells here and also had spiritual power. That means absolutely no one else has been here, unless the other team went up early. So, all they had to do was to wait for the rabbit and they would be able to find the man. Is this thing done by your human race? Or else this hasn't even happened before. But just now you said that someone came up here. But at that moment, Mo Feng didn't listen to Kayak Gang's shouts and directly blasted at Chu Yun Kai. The things you people of the demon race are slandering are getting more and more outrageous. The three of us have been together since the beginning, so it's so possible that we could have done these things. Chu Yun coldly snorted and directly retorted. And then as if to muddy the waters or something, he bit right back and said, "Is this something you guys did? And now that you don't stop doing it from the words of the demon race, are you trying to stir up the sight? Humph, Chu Patty, do you want to fight?" Mo Feng did not spoil Chu Yun either and directly said with a cold shout. With his temper bursting, he was directly enraged by Chu Yun's words and looked about to start a fight. Kayak Gang on one side couldn't stand to look at it anymore, and directly snorted coldly and walked over to these two people and said, "The priority now is to do what I said. If you guys continue to argue, don't blame me for getting my hands dirty. After all, this thing is lost. If you don't have a good explanation, going back will be absolutely miserable. Humph, you'll get your ass kicked back there." Seeing Kayak Gang come out to persuade the fight, Mo Feng and the two of them no longer said anything more. Do directly what the other side says. After all, as the other side said, if we don't get to the bottom of this, if they went out, the clan would never let them have a good time. The cramps and bones are considered light. It's not impossible, even if the soul is extracted and refined. After all, It's a miracle drug. A divine medicine that can lead to heaven and immortality in one step. This thing seems to be eaten immediately before it's done, or else something will happen before too long. After Chu Feng left the top of the mountain, he immediately sought out a location and sat down with his stealth talisman on. And then, as soon as he stuffed the 9-turned soul refining grass into his mouth, he directly swallowed it. Because after he came out and walked for a while, he had realized that the storage bag could not even block its medicinal fragrance. A strong medicinal fragrance directly broke through the limitations of the storage bag and floated out. Chu Feng, who saw this situation, instantly knew that things had gotten big. If you don't handle it well, don't say coquette when the time comes. Even if Tang Shishir came to the entrance of the secret realm and protected him, it didn't work either, because it's a miracle drug, a higher level of existence than immortal medicine. Time is not said to be there, even if it is rumored. I have not heard of it yet. Clicky, clicky. After Chu Feng put the 9-turned soul refining grass into his mouth and chewed it twice, he did not care about the flavor on it. Swallowed right into the belly. He was afraid to leave it in his mouth longer than the medicinal scent wafted out. Let the people outside know what's going on over here straight away. Boo! As the medicinal herb entered the abdomen, a huge spiritual energy rushed directly into Chu Feng's dantian. In one fell swoop, his dantian gave him a full rise. And then, before Chu Feng could react, wave after wave of spiritual energy rapidly rushed through his body. Directly, the meridians and physique in his body were rapidly uplifted and widened. It caused his originally extremely trashy physique to rapidly strengthen. One must know that among the pseudo-spirit roots, but they were also divided into grades. Generally speaking, people with 4 spirit roots were extremely low ranked, but under the transformation of the divine medicines, his physique slowly improved. In no time at all, it rushed straight through the beginner, intermediate, advanced, and top levels. After that, it even spawned the last spirit root he was missing within his body. It made his spiritual roots replenish, become a 5 spirit root being. The existence of these spiritual root ranks don't look as if they were all 5 spiritual roots, but the differences could be considered extremely great. One must know that in the ancient era, there were rumors of a chaotic physique. That was the physique transformed by the 5 spirit roots. Its strength, potential, and power could all be ranked among the top existences. However, unfortunately, this divine pill's function was not in this aspect. It's just incidental to changing the physique. It only caused Chu Feng's physique to follow up with a lack of strength after becoming a top-level spirit root. It didn't make his physique transform into the legendary physique. On top of that, Chu Feng's cultivation level, even more so, appeared to be climbing. First, he broke through to the spirit realm cultivation, and then, it was a wild ride, breaking through 4 minor realms in a row, came to the middle of the spirit realm. It caused an aura storm to appear around Chu Feng. It directly shook the surrounding soil and rocks to a burst of loosening up. However, at that moment, Chu Feng did not notice the situation over here, because something much more important was happening in his mind. After eating the 9-turned soul refining grass, his consciousness then fell silent. Within a moment, he suddenly found himself in a magical space. A black mist was drifting in this space. There were no boundaries, and the surrounding area was even darker and deeper. Not a single other situation could be detected. Before Chu Feng could react to what had happened over here, the black mist in the space in front of him slowly changed. One moment it's rubbed thin and the next it transforms back to normal. With a face of 9 times, Chu Feng looked a little confused. In a large hall, a hurried figure rushed straight in, reporting directly to the old man whose breath was like an abyss in front of him. As soon as he opened his mouth, it was a shocking message. Master, the divine medicine 9-turned soul refining grass inside has disappeared into thin air. What should we do? What? How is that possible? It's true. Senior brother Chu personally arranged for people to come out and spread the message. Alright, you immediately go out and lead 90% of the elites in the gate to go out and block the neighboring exits directly. No matter who comes out, even if the Heavenly King comes, that person must be trapped for me. Will Master cause people from other sects to come over and attack us? This, humph. You don't need to pay attention to this matter. After such a big incident, the people above will definitely come out to take care of it. Yes, Master. The burly man's pupils couldn't help but shrink up at his words. An incredulous look came into his eyes. Hearing that, he realized how much of an impact this had. It was no longer something that they, the people of the clan, could handle. So he didn't dare to ask more questions, turned around and left the place. Turning back to the old man, he did as he was told. At this time, the old man was not able to stabilize his mind, and as soon as the man left, he displayed his spiritual power and his figure instantly disappeared. When he reappeared, he appeared in an extremely small town, but the mortal atmosphere was extremely thick. The old man came straight to a small courtyard of statues and said to the plain, unkempt statue owner in front of him. True Lord cultivating God. The 10,000 medicinal valleys divine pill 9 turn soul refining grass has disappeared? When the statue boss heard this, the carving knife in his hand lurched, as if he had heard some unbelievable words. The statue in his hand was directly cut into two halves by it in one go. At the same time, a powerful, oppressive to unbelievable aura violently erupted from its body. Straight away, the town was half a body height lower. The people in the town, moreover, directly fainted in this aura. The old man who sped over couldn't help but tremble slightly when he felt the surrounding aura. It wasn't until a good while later that the statue boss seemed to come back to his senses and slowly opened his mouth. When did this happen? The old man didn't dare to hide anything and directly spoke out the information he had. At the same time, he also informs the other party of the arrangements he has made. Very well, you've done a great job. This grade 9 barrier breaking pill is for you. I hope you can break through to today's realm. Thank you, Lord True Lord. When the old man heard this, he directly bowed his head in thanks, an extremely joyful expression on his face. However, there were no other sounds coming from above. The old man waited for a long time before slowly raising his head. That's when he realized that True Lord had already left. However, it had an extremely round and smooth vial on it. End of chapter. Chapter 98 Siege. Chapter 98 Siege. The old man knew that one was the grade 9 barrier breaking pill that he had been dreaming of. With this thing in place, his chances of breaking through to the transfiguration mortal level definitely increased by 50%. It was important to know that breaking through the transfiguration realm alone was generally only 10% to 20%. Now he has 50% directly. How can this not make him happy? Take the residents here and recuperate them with spiritual medicine. The mood of the people who had been stunned was also much better. At that moment, the disciples stationed here were told to help these mortals recover their bodies. Yes, Sovereign Lord. The following disciple was extremely intelligent and directly obliged. In the immortal and demon continent, as the news of the divine pill was spread, strong people hidden in the shadows came out one after another, and one by one, they headed towards the 10,000 medicinal valleys. The surrounding people, seeing this scene, all had extremely shocked looks in their eyes. He couldn't imagine that there were so many strong people staying in the shadows here. How long has this been going on? Chu Feng, who had woken up from a sleep, looked at the dark surroundings and a puzzled expression appeared in his eyes. Raising his eyes to look at the chat room and the network system, Chu Feng realized that surprisingly, most of the day had already passed. The time had come to darkness. This divine medicine is really powerful, to the extent that even my physical qualities and also my physique have been found to have changed. The most important thing is that it actually allowed me to cultivate divine thoughts in advance, and the divine thoughts are still extremely condensed, extending out to a distance of 1,000 meters. Chu Feng, who had woken up, immediately began to check the condition of his body. At this moment, his whole body was like a mud man, fully encased in mud. This was the result of his body's cleansing. Although the surface of his body was incredibly malodorous, Chu Feng was extremely happy. You know, qualifications can be unchangeable in this world, and poor qualification means more resources to spend. And, at the time of some breakthroughs, there would be extremely common bottlenecks. Geniuses, if they come across this stuff, drink water and pass it. The mediocre, on the other hand, may be stuck on it. Previously, Chu Feng was extremely envious of those genius characters, but now, that would be meh. Cleansing. Chu Feng pinched his nose and gave himself a cleansing spell. Only after washing his entire body all over again and being permeable did Chu Feng walk out. What's going on here? What kind of madness are these people in? All over the mountains, looking for something? Chu Feng, who had just come out, looked at the countless running figures around him, and his expression could not help but show some surprise. After all, it had been peaceful and stable before he went in. But what's going on now? Could it be something to do with me? As Chu Feng's mind turned, he immediately thought of the divine medicines he had picked this time. Gotta ask around to find out, or else. Sensing the crisis, Chu Feng immediately made the decision to look for a place to poke around. At that moment, Chu Feng quickly left the place, come into a bazaar at the foot of the mountain. This is a place where monks find good stuff, but since it doesn't apply to them, so they set up a small market for bartering. This is arguably the most permeable place for messages in the entire space. After all, people come here from everywhere, so the sources are first-hand. It was most appropriate for Chu Feng to come here to spy. In a short while, Chu Feng poked around in a crowded exchange area and found the information he wanted. It was surprising that the commotion here was really caused by him. The outside is surprisingly sealed right off. Anyone who went out would need to have their storage bag, and their entire body, inspected by an Amikian True Lord. Hearing those words, Chu Feng was directly stunned. This is really stabbing the Dragon King's temple. These ordinary cultivators didn't know what it meant to be a true lord, but as a veteran who's been through it before, Chu Feng was aware of what it meant to be a true lord. That would be a true immortal realm powerhouse. If the other party scanned his body, something would definitely happen. One must know that this 9-turn soul refining grass had already been eaten by him though, but it can't be completely refined. He still has most of the drug in his body. After all, with his strength, it would be impossible to digest the divine pill.